Fabrizio Romano was gave an update on the Rodri and Real Madrid links, and it seems like Rodri is apparently really pushing for this Real Madrid move, particularly to happen this summer. I mean, I am, yep, it's a hard one to swallow because we know how important he is to the squad. I mean, we literally had one of our worst periods, probably under Pep, just because he got an injury. Do you know what I mean? Like he's like probably in terms of losing someone, he's probably the most important player. Because when we lose him, it's completely different. Even first half of the season, we've seen a difference. Now I know people say, "Oh, for us this season, he hasn't been the same player." Not going to say he's been the same player as he was before the injury, but I think a lot of people forget the run we went on towards the back end of the season allowed us to be to the point where a lot of us actually thought we were going to win the title. First half of the season when Nico Gonzalez was playing there, not to say it was just necessarily his fault, but Arsenal were barely ever conceding shots on target, never mind goals, and they were gaining a gap on us. We were losing games, drawing games here and there. Even when it was a short gap, you're just thinking, how are we ever going to gain this back on them? They're like literally not conceding shots on target. Then the gap was getting bigger, and then you're thinking, okay, don't really see it now. Rodri comes in, and the form goes up. Like, it just goes up. Like, yes, he definitely showed more of his actual levels in the World Cup, but he is still so valuable to us. And I'm hearing fans saying, look, he's going to be at a cheaper price. Let's get 50 mil for him. 50 million pounds. 50 mil. Now, you might not think that he was the best player in the World Cup, but you cannot deny he was the best player for the team that won the World Cup. And when I'm seeing us buy Anderson off Forest for 116 mil, when I'm seeing Rodgers get bought by Chelsea from Villa for 117 mil, we bought Grealish a couple of years ago for 100 mil. These clubs are getting 100 mil plus for these players just because of how valuable they are to them. Not in the wide scheme of things, I don't think Forest are sitting there going, well, if we look at everyone in the world, I reckon he's 116 mil when, no one, I think other than maybe Wirtz and Isak, no one has cost that much in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? I don't think Forest are sitting there saying that, but to them, he's that's what he's worth. That's what Rodgers is worth to Villa. That's what Grealish was worth to Villa when we bought him off them. But then you take a Rodri. Rodri is as important as they are to those clubs as he is to us. And Rodri, if you look in the grand scheme of things, is the best six in the world. You also take into a fact that, okay, 10 years ago, maybe not, but right now, I know Rodri it's only really Real Madrid, but in terms of his actual role, that is probably the most in-demand role across a variation of players, but the most in-demand role in the world, over the last couple of seasons. And £50 million. It has to be 100 mil plus. We know what Real Madrid are going to do. They did it with Trent. They're going to give these shitty little offers because they're going to get him on a free. And that's why people are saying 50 mil. I would rather take him going on a free because I can sit here and I can convince myself there was absolutely nothing we could do. His mind was always set on Real Madrid. I can cope with that as much as I don't like Real Madrid. But if I find out, well, it'll be like a month from now because we're in July, that he has gone to Real Madrid for £50 million, then I'm just going to look at it and go, well, we offered him a contract, he hasn't accepted it. I know there was murmurs that maybe Real Madrid would be looking at him in a couple of seasons, but until this season, it hasn't really picked up. So that to me just says you haven't put enough money down in front of him to say you're stupid if you don't say, or to the point where it's just like, okay, it's just Real Madrid's in his head, whatever. And I think you should be giving him any money he wants because we know the importance of him, even before his injury. We talk about how much of a negative impact was on the team when he got injured and he's out for the season. Even the season before that, in 23-24, we went on a run of 50 odd games unbeaten when he was in the squad. Like that, That's crazy. That is crazy. And if we're selling him for 50 to 65 mil, you also take into the fact, I've talked in another video before about Buwadi. He seems to be like the one that they're looking at the most. He's being valued at £85 million. So even if we forget Rodri a minute, an 18-year-old who's had 2 good seasons, apparently, because I haven't watched the fucking league and I haven't watched Lille especially. He's had 2 good seasons for Lille and a good World Cup. It's worth 85 mil. And that means only 50 mil of that comes from the Rodri deal. So that means we're still paying 35 mil of our own money instead of it coming from a sale or something. Do you know what I mean? And that's even if we get Buwadi. If we don't get Buwadi and we buy someone cheap, he's going to be a bum. And if Buwadi's costing that for an 18-year-old who's had a couple of decent seasons, then what do we think someone else is going to cost if we try to go for someone more experienced? Do you know what I mean? Then I go into it and I go into Rodri's side of things, why he wants to join Real Madrid. Now, okay, I understand that as much as I don't personally say, it'd be my dream to play for Man City because that's my club. I can understand a lot of people, it is their dream to play for Real Madrid. To get that, and especially for foreign players. And actually, I know he's a foreign player to our club, but he's actually born in Madrid. I don't know which one of them he supported. I'm not going that far back to fucking Rodri archive, you know what I mean? That'd be a bit weird. But I understand that he probably wants to play for Real, and that can be a dream for a lot of people. But first of all, he played for Atletico when he was younger. Now, he said before in interviews that doesn't block him off from joining Madrid. So, okay, you can go, oh yeah. But Spain have just won the World Cup. They're doing a parade for it, obviously. And there's a couple of Atletico Madrid players in it, right? Some of them starting like Baena, but, a couple of bench players and stuff. They go over to him, asking for a picture. They've got a Spanish flag with the Atletico badge on it. And he goes, yeah, sure guys, I'll go take a picture. So you're telling me you're going to take a picture with Atletico players, specifically to have the Atletico badge in it, celebrating something. And then, a couple of weeks later, you're going to join the team in the world that they probably hate the most. Do you know what I mean? Like come on. And then you go into Real Madrid themselves. These lot disrespected everything you achieved when you won the Ballon d'Or. Vinny thought he was going to win it. He kicked up a huge fuss about it. And not only did he, but I'm pretty sure all the other Real Madrid players that were nominated for that year's Ballon d'Or, not obviously for first, but in and around it, didn't turn up either. So it's not even just like you can go, oh, it was Vinny, he kicked up a fuss, whatever. The whole Real Madrid lot didn't turn up. I think Carvajal was nominated that year. Bellingham was nominated that year, I'm pretty sure. Like Carvajal, okay, I don't really know. I don't really think he's got an ego. It doesn't seem like that, but he's a Real Madrid legend. Obviously, Vinny's there at the minute. He's one of the best players in the world. Bellingham, same. You're walking into that. I don't understand how you can go, oh yeah, I won the biggest individual award in the world in my sport, and these lot completely disrespected me for it because they got salty that one of their players didn't win. And yeah, you're going to go to that club. Like, can someone explain that to me? Like, I don't like Madrid particularly anyway. Like I said, I can understand if he wants to go to Madrid. I can't deny that. They are a huge club, probably the biggest club in the world in terms of size. But if someone disrespects you like that, the whole team disrespecting you, and it's not like we're 10 years down the line after those players are gone, that's pretty much the same squad that's there right now, and you want to go and be mates with them and play with them. Like, what the fuck is that all about, seriously? I don't get it personally. I would rather see him go on a free next season, because then I'll look at it in a different light and I'll go, okay, Madrid's a big club. He's going to want to go there. Okay, I would still have those questions as to why, but all that stuff. But at least I can convince myself from our point of view that we've put a contract on the table. He hasn't accepted it, which, even if it's not true, I can kind of make myself think, okay, he was never going to accept our contract regardless of what we offered him. He was always going Madrid. But if we are selling him this summer, first of all, it needs to be big money. I don't want to see 50 mil for him. I don't want to see 60 mil for him. That is too low, especially in this market. We're not talking 2016 anymore. We're talking 2026. Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest just cost 116 mil, and Rodgers from Aston Villa cost 117 mil. Rodri is playing for us. We've just won 2 trophies. We just competed for the league. He is as valuable to us as them two are to those clubs. They minimum 100 mil. They would not have listened to anyone if they didn't come in with initial 100 mil. And yeah, we're going to sell Rodri. And I don't care what people say, oh, Rodri's 29, 30, whatever it is, these players are younger. That's all right if, there's not too much of a disparity between the two. But Rodri is the best in his position in the world, one of the best players in the world. And we're selling him basically half the price if we do sell him for 50, 60 mil, which is what people want for some reason. Then Anderson and Rodgers, come on. And I also think letting him go at the end of next season means that we're not just getting some shitty little money that's not really going to do anything for us in terms of replacement anyway. That's just mainly going to come from our bank anyway. It's not going to come from the sale. Is that we know the importance of him on the team. So having him even just for this season, even if we know he does go, even if we know that from game one that he's 100% going at the end of this season coming up, then I'll take that because he's done his bit. And if we're looking to try and win the title this season, he is going to be massively important. And you talk about Buadi. Buadi, initially, when there was initial talks on him, was supposed to go on loan to Lille for a couple of years or stay in the team but learn from Rodri. If Rodri leaves and Buadi comes in, the expectation on him straight away, because he's going to be looked, well, I mean, he is essentially the replacement for Rodri, but he is going to have some heavy expectations on him straight away. And then if that doesn't work out, then we're scurrying around for someone else, and then that just becomes a whole thing. So yeah, this is just, this is just really shit news. I think one way or another this season or at the end of this one coming up, it's inevitable that he's probably going to leave for Madrid, but just do not sell him for 50 odd million pounds, please, genuinely, and if Rodri's watching this, you know, because I don't even think you have social media, but if you somehow see this, just give us one more year, fella, and then you can leave on a free. I'll let you do that, you know what I mean? And if I don't let you do it, then you can't do it. So yeah, but yeah, that's my thoughts. What do you think? What's actually in valuation? What's the minimum valuation you would take for Rodri? Leave it in the comments. But yeah, in a bit.